Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Boschman, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive podcast. In this episode, we're going to take a look at the forecast for each life path number for the month of April 2026. Before we get into the forecast, this is a general reading. If you would like your own personal numerology reading, please book some time with me. My information's in the description box below, and I'd love to work with you. All right, let's go ahead and see what this month is doing for you. Life path number 1. So the month of April is bringing in a bit of instability. It's bringing in some disruption. And so where you all are going to be working the most with that, or where the main focus for you all is going to be, is with the energy of the 6. So that brings the emphasis to the home, to family, friends, community, your place within the community. You could see some, I don't want to say disruptions, but you could see some shifts there, some change. You could see some shifts where it comes to like how people need you at this time. You might see that you are sort of being pulled in a lot of different directions when it comes to, again, the needs of others. This is going to be a month for you all where the focus is meant to shift from self and sort of your needs, not to sacrifice yourself, but you're meant to sort of focus outwards. You know, how can you be of service? How can you share your gifts or your time and energy in a way that is supportive of others? How can you tackle the problems that others are moving through? And in that process, you will likely see, obviously, the solutions of your own problems come through. So this is going to be one of those months, again, where other people might need more of you, or you might feel like, again, you're being kind of pulled in a million different directions, and you're going to have to find your place with that so that you're able to tend to your own needs, but also the needs of others. And you could see some shifts. So you could see some people moving in, people moving out. Change with finances around the home is very possible with this energy. Perhaps finding greater balance between work and home life. You might see that your attention is really being pulled more towards the home environment. And you'll have to find your balance there. What I would say to best work with this energy is to be as adaptable as possible, to move with the changes that are likely coming in for you in that area, and just see what's possible through those shifts, because the shifts are bringing in new opportunities that you're meant to pay attention to and take a hold of and do something with. And, you might not understand why the change is necessary at this time, but it will come to light. It will make sense as you move along with it. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got duck energy. And so immediately what comes to mind is getting your ducks in a row, getting organized. Maybe this is a great time to clear the clutter within your home, spring clean, perhaps. If there's something that needs your attention, that needs to be addressed, right? So maybe it's a deeper conversation that needs to be had that you might have been avoiding. This is a great time to do that and to take care of what needs to be taken care of. So this is a great time to get organized, especially address the things in your home life, in your community that needs addressing, and find a way to best move with the necessary changes in order to get the best results. Life path number 2, this month you're going to be working with a vibration of the 7. And April is somewhat of an unstable, more disruptive month. So you might find this month that you're being more drawn inwards, that you need a little bit more time with yourself to kind of move through any of the ideas or inspirations that might have been coming in for you, to figure out what you want to do with that. When we move through a 7 cycle, we can have a lot of very vivid dreams, or again, like our imagination can be running wild. We can have a lot of insights and ideas that come through. And the key is to, again, figure out, how do I move that energy through me to make this tangible, to bring this to life? So it's kind of that energy of bringing your dreams to life in some way, or starting that process. And because this month is sort of disruptive and there could be a lot of shifts and changes, for you all, that change might be more internal, about how you see yourself, how you speak to yourself, what you believe is possible, or what you believe you're capable of. And you may discover some of your greater limits, some of your greater limitations this month. But alongside of that, if you're open to it, you will likely discover how you can manage that, how you can work with it, how you can overcome, or how you can call in the resources who have the strengths where you have those limitations in order to help you to achieve those goals. So there's likely going to be a lot of opportunity this month to take your time, slow down, pay attention to your thoughts, pay attention to the direction that you want to be moving in, your intuition, that inner guidance. Let the external give you the information, let it inform, but don't let it decide what is the next step for you. That's meant to come through the intercontemplation, the time spent going within to discover more about your own personal desires, what makes you tick, what do you want at this time in your journey? Because as we continue to evolve, that can always change. And so this is really a month for you all to just slow down, to take the time necessary for self-care, self-soothing. Your holistic health is going to be really important this month, seeing where there's, maybe some imbalances, putting your energy towards, bringing that back into balance is going to be really important this month as well. And not taking things at face value, but going deeper, asking the bigger questions, and then being open to the bigger answers. You could get a lot of clarity this month, whether it's from the seen or the unseen, that can really drive the next steps forward for you. And those shifts or changes that could likely come in from that greater awareness, from that greater clarity, can be quite life-changing, quite life-altering if you allow them to be. And if you take the information that's being presented to you this month and actively choose to do something with it. So when it comes to making any kind of decisions this month, I would say absolutely come back to yourself. Make sure that it feels right for you. Be decisive, be discerning, and then trust yourself. Trust is going to be a big theme this month as well. You want to trust yourself when it comes to making decisions that are important to you, that will have an effect in your life or the life of others. So take your time. There's no need to rush, and there's absolutely no need to force when it comes to a 7th cycle. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you've got spider energy. And this is just that reminder, especially in correlation with a 7th cycle, that you're the weaver of your own web. And so, if you don't like what you're attracting, it's time to make some changes, some shifts. And this month, April, will help you to do that. And then you're able to create an environment that will attract what it is that you need in order to create the experience that you want. But you're an active participant. Life is not just happening to you. You have choices and decisions that you can make and actions that you can take in order to sort of make the most of what you're being given to work with. And that spider energy is that reminder. If you don't like the web that you've weaved, you can always tear it down and build something different, build something better. But you have to make the decision to do so and trust that intuition and inner guidance. Life path number 3, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 8 throughout April. And April is somewhat of an unstable, disruptive month. So for you all, the focus is on money, on career, on how you contribute in the world, on how you achieve your goals. And so there could be some disruption there. There could be some shifts that need to take place in order for you to get more aligned with, what it is that you want to be doing or what it is that you feel you need to be doing in order to create the experience that you want to have. Again, whether that has to do with your finances or career or how you spend your money or how you save your money, how you manage it, whatever comes up for you. Also, power dynamics could come into play. So, those power plays could be a little bit disruptive where, again, it's pushing you to be your own best advocate, stand up for yourself, reclaim your power in some kind of dynamic where you may feel like that power is being taken from you. And ultimately, it's you deciding what it is that you want and understanding what is necessary in order to make that happen and then going after that. But also there's a level of expertise here. So how are you sharing your expertise? How are you sharing your wisdom, your gifts? And does it match with how you spend the majority of your day, your time? And you might see some shifts or changes come in that can help you to get more greatly aligned with that so that you feel like you are more in purpose or spending your time in a way that fills you up rather than depletes you. So it doesn't mean you're throwing everything out, at once or disrupting everything, but you could notice some significant changes in those areas where you were going to have to make some decisions and then take some actions from those decisions that could create some significant change. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got bobcat energy. And so, anytime we're talking about like a big cat or a predator, there's patience here. There's patience in the hunt, in the approach. And so though you may feel like things need to happen quickly, or you need to see some kind of results quickly from the changes that you might be implementing this month, or again, maybe you make up your mind that you're going to do X, Y, or Z. And once you make up your mind and commit to it, you might be a little bit frustrated that you're not seeing the results as quickly as you would like to. But just remember that 8 energy is a manifesting energy, and it doesn't happen necessarily quickly, but it happens with effort and taking risks and showing up and picking yourself up and trying again type of energy. And so with Bobcat coming through, this is that reminder to, sort of stalk your desires, stalk your greater vision, and figure out the best plan of approach in order to bring that to life, in order to hit the goal. But it doesn't need to be rushed. It shouldn't be overly impulsive, and it doesn't need to happen quickly. This is a great time to put your expertise to use and figure out how best to manage your time, manage your resources in order to achieve the results that you're looking to achieve. But be patient, take your time. You're basically stalking your goal at this time to figure out when's the best time to strike and when's the best time to sort of pause before you take the next step, the next action. So pace yourself and trust that the next step will present when it's time to take that next step. And just know that that next step might include taking some kind of a risk. Life path number 4. So we're going to be working with the vibration of the 9 throughout April. And April is a very unstable, disruptive month. So for us, this is going to be a month where we have to come back to ourselves. Like, we have to really follow our inner guidance, our intuition, trust how we feel about something before we take action, because the external may not be showing us the full story. Like, we might be seeing things occur or results coming in that just doesn't match maybe the effort we've been putting in or what we thought we would be seeing by now. And though that's kind of the storyline for a 4, when we move through a 9 cycle, it's kind of pushing us inwards to say, you can't always trust what you're seeing in the external. So you have to come within and sort of merge that information that you're receiving from the outside with your intuition, your inner guidance, how you're feeling about it, and then make your decisions from there. Because a lot of times, how you feel, like what you know to be true for yourself, is a much better gauge than what the external is showing you. Because again, you're not always getting the full picture. So if you're feeling very frustrated this month, if you're feeling like there needs to be some kind of change with some area of your life, this would be the month to really go within, really do that reflective work, the contemplation, to decide, what do you want it to look like? What next step feels right for you? And it might look very different than what the external, whether it's friends, family, partners, work, it might look very different than what the external, is kind of pointing you in that that particular direction. You might need to kind of reroute or shift gears, change direction, release something that maybe you didn't ever see yourself releasing or move away from. So this is definitely one of those times to trust your instincts, to trust what you feel to be true for you in this moment, on this leg of your journey. Because if you're letting the external influencer guide you and bypassing that inner knowing, you're going to have to come back and clean it up. And you're likely not going to be fully happy with the results that you're getting. So pay attention to what's leaving you frustrated, what's leaving you feeling stuck. And shift your focus towards what is working. Where is it that you're getting momentum? Where is it that you feel good? And, invest more of your energy there, while also sort of going inwards when it comes to contemplating the next step with whatever it is that's creating the obstacle, that's frustrating you. and you'll likely come up with a greater solution. But this is not a month to be sort of looking to the external for that guidance or what to do next. There's a lot of sort of internalized work that needs to occur, and just a lot of coming back to yourself and trusting yourself when it comes to making those decisions. Again, let the external inform, but don't let it decide for you. You need to decide, especially when it comes to making decisions that could be very impactful in your life in some way, shape, or form. So this month is a great month to flex that muscle of trusting yourself and your intuition and that inner guidance, because it is always going to be your greatest North Star, and it's never going to lead you astray, even though it might lead you down paths you never would have saw yourself going down. This month, if something needs to fall away, it will. And I would say don't cling too tightly to it. Don't try to control the outcome. See what the universe has in store, and then you'll decide how to work with it once sort of the dust settles. I pulled an animal wisdom message for us, and we got dog energy. And this just comes back to that fierce loyalty that fours typically have. Loyalty is a beautiful thing, but sometimes it can be also a fault. And so this is just one of those months also to see or to ask yourself, what are you loyal to? What are you overly committed to that is not serving you, that is not part of your dream, that is not part of what you want to build? Sometimes we commit to something and then, good luck trying to pull us away from it because we're so committed to it. And that loyalty can be our greatest downfall. So we just want to make sure that where we're investing our time and our energy and our resources is something that we want for ourselves, right? Following that inner guidance, that heart-led intuition, to make sure that where we're spending the majority of our time or who we're spending that time with matches. Like it's where we want to be spending that, that portion of our life with, or investing that time and energy into. So this is a great cycle to just really go within and decide what it is that you want in this moment, and then what adjustments or changes need to be made in order to move in a direction that feels more aligned. You could absolutely be asked this month to change directions after you've invested a tremendous amount of time and energy and resources into something. And sometimes that's one of the most difficult things for fours to do. So if you are being pushed in that direction, take the time to go within and understand why you're being asked to shift gears and change or release whatever it is that you've been working so hard towards, because maybe it really is not meant for you at this time. And maybe it'll circle back around. But if you're seeing yourself being moved in a different direction, then trust that and make sure that what you are being loyal to is not only serving you, but serving the highest good of all involved. Otherwise, it's not serving anyone. So definitely take the time to check your loyalty, check your commitments, and make sure that it's where you want to be investing your time and energy. And if it's not, then you need to give yourself permission to start to move in a different direction. And this month will certainly help you to do that. Life path number 5, you are going to be working with the very powerful energy of the 10-1 for April, and April is Aries season, so it's very much like one energy. So for you, this could be so much about, new beginnings, fresh starts, new initiations, but also being assertive, going after what you want, following the motivation, allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to go after those big dreams in a big way. April is likely going to be more of an unstable month, more disruptive. Lots of shifts and changes this month are very, very possible. And so the key is to be as adaptable as possible and move with the changes to see what's possible through these shifts. And for you all, you're going to be the trailblazers. You're going to be the ones who, you're meant to be taking the ideas that might be coming in for you or the opportunities, and not even like waiting for the door to open, but like busting the door down and sharing those ideas, launching, putting yourself out there, letting people know your name and what you have to offer. And also advocating for yourself, speaking up for yourself, taking up more space, recognizing your value, your worth. If there's a way that you want to express yourself that you haven't been, that you've been sort of shying away from, this is the month to just go all in and just let the world see you and know your name. So very powerful month when it comes to creation, creativity, again, like building something that feels very true and authentic for you, and overcoming any of the self-doubt that might surface as well, but recognizing the value that your contribution has in whatever area, whether that's in your relationships, whether that's in your career, your creativity, with yourself and how you speak to yourself, how you see yourself. A lot of that coming in this month with the reminder that, you are the main character in your story. So what do you want that story to look like? You get to decide. And when we move through a strong one cycle, it's that reminder that we can ask for things, we can want things, but a lot of times nobody just sort of hands that over. We have to show up, we have to do the work, we have to, commit to it, and we have to be motivated to do so. So follow the motivation, don't hold back. This is big energy. Manage your impulsivity though, I would say. Take your time, all things in moderation. But this is a really great month for you to remember who you are and why you came here and who you are in this moment, because we're always changing and evolving. And so you might look very different or feel very different about something or many things than you did 10 years ago. So embrace who you are now and, let the world see it. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got crow energy. And I love this, especially for like a one cycle, because it's about intelligence. It's about, being that observer, but being very aware of like the surroundings and the inner workings and the intricacies, and maybe being misunderstood, but not really caring, like recognizing again, your intelligence, your worth, your contribution, and sharing that with whoever wants to hear. And the people who aren't interested, then they're lost. It's really that kind of energy. Crows are very, obviously intelligent, but also very like methodical and determined. And so, let that energy flow over to you when it comes to things that you have to, again, advocate for this month, speak up for, go and get this month, take charge of. Very much leadership energy, even if it's being the leader within your own life and overcoming any of that self-doubt that might be standing in your way. So this month, go get them and don't second guess yourself. Life path number 6, you all are going to be working with a vibration of the 11-2 throughout April. And this can bring in some challenges, some obstacles that you'll need to take your time and move through. And keep in mind that those obstacles or those challenges are trying to get you to see something you might have been missing. So sometimes when we're very hyper-focused on, whether it's a solution or whether it's a problem, a lot of times we can miss the bigger picture. A lot of times we can miss the options. And with the 11-2 cycle, sometimes those challenges come in to sort of force a pause so that we have to look around and we have to see like, oh, maybe there is something else that needs my attention. Maybe there is a better way to approach whatever this is. And instead of just trying to barrel through the obstacle or getting frustrated and overwhelmed and just not doing anything by the obstacle, you are meant to be curious, to explore, to try new things. And in that exploration and curiosity, you will likely stumble upon things that really excite you, that light you up, that get you excited about what's possible, what's next. And in that process, you find the solution for overcoming the obstacle. And it usually looks very different than what you were hyper-focused on or thought to be the solution. Or it might just kind of expand upon that, but in a way that you might not have been able to grasp without having gone through the obstacle. So this month, as those obstacles present, just take your time and use your intuition, but also use your intellect in figuring out what's the best option, while also taking a bigger perspective, looking at it through a larger lens to hopefully see greater opportunities or greater possibilities. So this month is really pushing you to fall into alignment with what, fills you up, what lights you up, what makes you happy, what brings you joy, what inspires you. And you're meant to do more of that. You're meant to say yes to more of that. And this might be the perfect month for picking up a hobby that you haven't done in a while or trying something new. And then again, expanding your mind or creativity in that direction. And you're also working with a lot of one energy, right? Double ones for the 11. And this is a one type of month. April is a one type of month. It's very much Aries season. So again, this is going to find you likely advocating for yourself, taking risks, trying new things, following your motivation, possibly feeling really excited and ambitious to achieve some new things or set new goals for yourself, but goals that you feel very much aligned with and excited about. So those things that feel very draining or feel very overwhelming, unless it's something that you absolutely have to do and is necessary, this is a great month to start to move in a different direction from that. Like, set those things down. If they need to be there, they'll be there when you come back around. But this month, try to focus on the things that ignite your spirit, that lift you up, that feel supportive just through the process of doing them and allowing yourself and giving yourself permission to do them. And part of this might just be saying no when you need to say no, to create time and space for yourself to do more of what you enjoy doing, even if it's just reading a book or something along those lines. So give yourself the permission this month to do more of what makes you happy. As cliche as that sounds. Now, I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got the fox energy. And again, fox are very chill. They're very curious creatures. They're not super rushed. They're just very much, when it's time to eat, they'll hunt their prey. They'll get the job done. Then they're back to like chilling out and playing and having fun. And they're just not overly bothered by things. And so I would say, again, metaphorically speaking. So again, I would say this month for you all, that heaviness, the things that you're carrying that are like overburdening, if they're not yours to carry, or if you can set them down and try to sort of invest your time and energy more into the things that bring the levity or just bring the lightness, because there's plenty of the other to always deal with. So this month, make sure that you're finding that greater balance. And if it's not something that's super serious, then don't take it super serious. Not right now anyway. Life path number 7, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 12-3 throughout April. And so this is one of those cycles where I would say take your time. So usually the 3 energy can be a really fast moving energy. It can be very social, a lot of moving parts, a lot happening, a lot of opportunities to connect with people, mingle, very creative cycle where you're kind of working to get your creativity out into the world, saying yes to new projects, trying new things, etc., etc. Now, I'm not saying that won't come in for you throughout April, because April is a very like action-oriented type of energy. But for you all, I would say just pace yourself, take your time. Like look to see what's already on your plate. Like what ideas or inspirations or opportunities have already presented themselves to you, whether it was last year or at the beginning of this year, that you're really meant to sort of devote your time and energy to. It's not about accumulating more. It's not about trying new things or starting new things that, are piling on top of what has already come in for you, that's already waiting for you to initiate or to explore further, or to sort of play in the realm of the imagination to see what you can build from it. So this would be a great month to, again, just sort of pause, take stock of what is already sitting on your plate, like what's already in front of you that you're working with, that you can build from, that you can create from, that you can connect with more deeply, and see where that takes you. And I'm not saying that more opportunities won't present this month. It's very possible, or new people won't come in. It's very possible. But try to tie it back to what you've already initiated or what you already know that you're meant to start to work on, because that's going to be the best use of your energy this month. Now, April is going to likely be a very unstable, very disruptive month. And so I would say be very adaptable. And for you all, be very adaptable when it comes to like communications, right? Like there could be some miscommunications. There could be some, the lines of communication being dropped. And so, or things going sideways that really don't need to be. So if things seem to kind of go in kind of disarray, take the time to have the conversation. It's very easy sometimes for 7s because there's a very strong mental component with 7 energy. It's very easy for 7s to kind of get stuck in the storyline of their own mind. If something, again, kind of goes sideways or doesn't work out, it's easy to create the story in your own head than to have the conversation and to understand or seek that understanding about what's actually happening so that you can kind of piece it all together. So just be careful about that this month. If the lines of communication go down, then put your energy into, bringing them back up, initiating the conversation, seek the understanding, try to get to the bottom of whatever it is without creating the storyline within your own mind, because that's going to create, greater destruction as opposed to being constructive in your actions. But you could also see, again, if you've been waiting to hear back on something, or maybe you've been waiting on the green light for something, again, a project or something that you've been working with previously, or a connection that you tried to make previously, you could see that come through this month. And you might see some shifts or changes, or even just some clarity come in around whatever that may be for you. But this is a great month for you all to get started on those projects, those creative projects especially, that have been sitting on your lap waiting for you to get started on them. So yeah, I would say put your energy there. That's likely where you're going to see the greatest bang for your buck. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got wolf energy. And immediately what comes in for me, especially with sevens, is, there's just that myth of the lone wolf. Like, it's easy for sevens a lot of times to move into more, greater solitude or disconnect from the external world and sort of try to do things on their own, kind of be that island. And wolf energy coming through, especially in conjunction with the 3 energy, is just that reminder that you're not meant to do it alone. We need what you have to offer. The world needs your specialty. The world needs your gifts. The world needs you. And so collaboration is super, super important. Connecting with others, putting yourself out there basically, and not trying to be or adhere to that lone wolf mentality, because you don't have to do it alone. And the people, places, things will present when you open yourself up to them. So I would say this month, just be really careful about overly isolating yourself or thinking that you have to go it alone. It might just be as simple as asking for assistance, asking for support, asking for help. And I think you'll be surprised at who shows up. There are likely people waiting, in the galley, just waiting for you to ask them for help or to be a part of whatever it is that you have to offer. So sometimes you just have to extend that request, and I think you'll be surprised at who comes through those floodgates. Life path number 8, you are going to be working with the vibration of the 13-4 throughout April. Now, April is likely going to be somewhat unstable, somewhat disruptive, and you really will need to be very adaptable this month, not only because of the energies that April's bringing in, but for you all, you're going to be working with a somewhat disruptive energy of the 13-4. The 13-4 is very plutonic, so it's very much like death, transformation, rebirth, right? A lot of shifts, a lot of changes, a lot of, things coming to an end so that you can rebuild something better. And a lot of release in order to open yourself up to something better. So it's very possible throughout April, you're going to have an opportunity to see where it is that maybe you keep showing up to things that aren't in your best interest, or that aren't serving you, or that need to, again, maybe you need to start moving away from in some way. With the 13-4, what's really beautiful about this energy is that it helps you to see where your strengths are. It helps you to see where your power lies. And so it's kind of like that Phoenix rising type of energy. Not necessarily that you have to hit rock bottom before you can rise again, but there will likely be certain circumstances in your life or situations that need to kind of crumble, that need to fall away, where again, you're investing your time, your energy, your resources into it, and it's not giving you that return of investment, no matter how much time and energy you put into. If anything, it's likely leaving you feeling depleted or frustrated, or, like you just can't get it to move, or get it into balance. And so those are the kind of areas where this energy will likely come in and help you to dismantle, help you to, break it down so that you can rebuild something much better. And in that process, you will see how resilient you are, right? Again, where your strengths lie, where your limitations lie. And that gives you an opportunity to call in the reinforcements, call in the people who have the strengths where you have those limitations to help you to build whatever it is you're trying to build. But ultimately, it can show you what you're capable of. So a lot of 8s struggle with like confidence or like imposter syndrome or self-doubt. And moving through a cycle like a 13-4, especially in the energies that we're working with in April, that are again sort of unstable or disruptive, can really show you where you are a powerhouse, where it is that, you know what, wow, I do have this, or I am capable of this, or I do know this. And they can help you to find that confidence. And then in finding your confidence, you're able to express yourself more fully, more authentically, and share that expertise with others. So it can be quite empowering. Though when you move through it, it can feel, again, sort of like the rug might be being pulled out from underneath you. The 13-4 can be an all or nothing, make or break type of energy. So those relationships, those situations that, again, you just keep showing up to and putting the Band-Aid on, those will likely, crumble this month, or you might see things fall apart this month. And the biggest thing that you can do, or the greatest thing that you can do for yourself and for others, is to let them fall, to let what needs to break, and then decide, how do I rebuild? How do I pick up from here? Where do I go from here? What is, and not let it derail you, not let it keep you stuck. If it breaks or it falls away this month, it's because it needed to. For whatever reason, it served its purpose. It's time to move forward in a different direction. And as the old saying goes, if it's truly meant for you, it's going to come back around. It's going to find you. You can't mess that up. So don't overly attach. Don't try to control. Just see how things play out, and then be as adaptable as possible in that process. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got sheep energy. And I actually love this for you all because 8 energy is a very leadership type of energy. It's very ambitious, very goal-oriented, can be very hyper-independent at times, and can also feel that need for control. So when sheep energy comes through, especially with that 13-4 energy, it's letting you know that, sometimes it's okay to lead alongside of others, or to be the observer. You don't always have to have it all together. You don't always have to know all the answers. You don't always have to be the one in charge. And you certainly don't have to do it alone. So with sheep energy, it's reminding you that you have a flock. So find your flock and collaborate, work together, delegate, share the load, so that you are able to continue with the journey of reaching that goal, whatever it might be. But with sheep energy, it's just that reminder that this month might be one where you need to let someone else lead. You need to let someone else kind of take the reins for a little bit while you figure it out, while you figure out what's next for you. And there's nothing wrong with that. You'll pick it back up, no doubt, in the next month, or whenever it is that you feel ready to. So don't be afraid to lean on others to help you to build what it is that you're looking to build, especially if they can offer the support that you need while you figure it out, and while you figure out how you want to rebuild, should that be the case. Life path number 9, you are going to be working with a vibration of the 14-5 this month, and this is a karmic energy. And so things this month might feel like a little bit more challenging. It might feel like it requires a little bit more effort, or a lot more effort, in order to see results, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. You are going to be working with the same vibration that we have, sort of the universal cycle of April, which is also 5 energy. So this is a month that could likely feel a little unstable, could feel a little disruptive, or a lot disruptive. There could be, things that are coming in that can bring a lot of clarity and deeper understanding that will inform the actions that you're meant to take moving forward. And so I would say this month, especially for 9s, be as adaptable as possible. Move with the changes to see what is possible, through these shifts. And it's only through the shifts that you will gain that clarity. And then you can make the decisions moving forward. One thing I'll say about the 14-5, though, is there's this need for commitment. There's this need for getting focused, getting serious, and channeling your energy into the details, not getting overwhelmed by the bigger picture or the bigger goals or what could happen, but dialing it into the present moment so that you can work with what is actually happening or what is needed in order to build whatever it is that you're looking to build, or be a part of whatever you want to be a part of. But because there's such strong 5 energy, this is about liberation. This is about greater freedom. This is about greater freedom of expression, greater, saying yes to the things that light you up, that help you to experience life with all your senses. Not being overly rigid or overly stubborn, not being overly cynical. Instead, taking the risk, being spontaneous, again, dancing outside of your comfort zone, trying new things, connecting with people who maybe you wouldn't have connected with previously. Being open to the unexpected and not being afraid of trying something new, even if it makes you nervous or scares you a little bit. This is going to be really important this month. And we're also, it's also Aries season throughout April. So this is about motivation and getting started and taking initiative and being that leader, right? Taking that leadership role within your own life. But this 14-5 energy is really trying to break you free from something. It's trying to, if it's self-doubt, if it's faulty belief systems, if it's, a dead-end job, if whatever it may be, this energy is trying to show you that the door is open, you just have to walk through. And it'll show you what it is that's keeping you from actually walking through the door. And usually it's ourselves sabotaging ourselves in some way, right? Creating that self-imposed prison. Sometimes it has to do with what life is presenting because it's a partnership. But this month is really about like where we are keeping ourselves restricted, where we are not seeing the bigger picture or the possibilities or believing in what's possible. And so this month could be really pushing you to try the new thing, to play in the realm of imagination, to say yes to, the wild and crazy opportunity that you never in a million years would have saw yourself saying yes to. And maybe you even have to create that opportunity. That's also possible. So a lot here about greater liberation and freedom and breaking free from some of the more rigid, stubborn, maybe even cynical ideas or value systems that have been keeping you stuck. Very, very possible. And you will likely see the people, places, things present this month that are meant to open you wide up so that you don't have really a reason for saying no other than keeping yourself stuck. So I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got raccoon energy. And I mean, this is so aligned, right? Because the raccoon is very much that curiosity creature. It's going to investigate. It's going to try new things. It doesn't overly worry about what could happen. It's very present in the, hey, this looks interesting. Let's see what it's about. And so there's more of that is needed for you nines this month. And the universe will present with you exactly what it needs to. Your job is to be curious and to follow that curiosity and see where it takes you. And to find the levity, to not take things too seriously. If it's serious, then address it the way it needs to be addressed. But if it's something that you can find the levity in, or it's not that serious, or it's not yours to carry, then let it go, throw it down, and, move forward much lighter. So love this energy for nines. Nines can get serious very quickly and can feel that pressure quite a bit. And so this is a great month for release and letting go. And it's kind of goes back to that saying of letting go and letting God, and just see what happens. Because more than likely, it's not going to all fall apart. If anything, it's likely going to fall in line the way it absolutely needs to without your need for controlling it. So very beautiful energy, nines. I hope it's a great month. Life Path 11 twos. So you're going to be working with the vibration of the 16-7 throughout April. Now, I will say that April is, for everyone collectively, a very unstable, disruptive month because we're going to be working with the vibration of the 5. So it can bring in that instability. And the need for the collective to be very adaptable is very much needed. So that goes for you all as well. And it's sort of compounded with the vibration of the 16-7 for you all, because the 16-7 can be a very disruptive energy. But it only disrupts, same thing with the 5, it only disrupts what it needs to disrupt. The 16-7 brings in a very physical layer where what we tend to move through when we move through a 16-7 cycle tends to feel very real. Again, it's in the physical. So it might be something with loss of finances or loss of a job or loss of a relationship or turbulence in some of those areas, right? But that disruption is not going to occur where it doesn't need to. So if things are going well, if things are flowing, if things are on point, you're likely not going to see a lot of waves. But where the storm will likely come in is in those relationships, those belief systems, those jobs, whatever, where it's not healthy, it's toxic, it's draining, it's not aligned with the path that you are meant to be on in this moment. The beauty about the 16-7, similar to what 8s are moving through this month with the 13-4, is the 16-7 has the power to show you where your power lies. It has the power to show you where your strengths are. And a lot of times it's through going through that storm, right? Recognizing that, oh, I do know how to sail this boat through the torrential, downpour and the huge waves. I can figure this out. And by that, of course, I'm talking about your own life, your own experience, the trials and tribulations that you have to move through. Nobody is likely going to just hand over all the answers. There's no manual. But the 16-7 helps us to discover that manual for ourselves, right? What we need to do in order to create the experience that we want to have. So for you 11-2s, this month is very much about that. It's helping you to truly recognize where your strengths are, where it is that, you are meant to have confidence because you've got this. And it's through finding or discovering that confidence or those strengths that you can start to put yourself out there, that you can start to really recognize, oh, you know what? This has value. Like this, I am worthy of this or whatever. So any area where you've kind of been holding yourself back or sabotaging yourself or opportunities, the 16-7 is going to show you very clearly where that is and show you very clearly that, yeah, why are you second guessing yourself? This is where you have your power. This is where you're meant to shine. So what do you need to do now in order to activate that, to build on that, to put it out into the world, or just do it for yourself? So though it can be challenging at times to move through, and again, it can feel disruptive at times, it really is working in your favor to remind you of your greater purpose, of your strengths, of what is your gifts, what you came here to share. And it can help to tear down any of those walls or self-imposed prisons that you might have built for yourself. So it's very, very empowering in that sense. But as you're moving through it, again, it can feel a little disruptive. So just be gentle with yourself as you do so. And the other thing I love about the 16-7, especially for 11-2s, is it can help you to feel unstuck. It can help to kind of remove the barriers that might be keeping you stuck or feeling like you're stuck. But of course, it's going to require, once you have that understanding or that deeper awareness, then you have to take action from that. If you don't take action, you're just going to get the same results. Now, I pulled an animal wisdom message for you, and you got vulture energy. And I love this because, vulture can first of all, can signify like death, right? Metaphorically, but it can also signify upheaval. But again, it's not going to create that upheaval where it's not needed or where it's not needed. So when we think of vultures come in and clean everything up, right? Everything serves a purpose. Nothing goes to waste. And so it's kind of that energy of saying, all right, 11-2s, where is it that you are wasting your gifts? Where is it that you are wasting your time, your energy, your resources? And how can you better funnel that into something that serves you and that serves others? And likely that wasting, quote unquote, stems from the self-sabotaging, which both the 16-7 and vulture energy are looking to disrupt. So it may be a little uncomfortable, but I would say get comfortable in the uncomfortableness this month, see what it's trying to show you, and embrace any confidence that you discover through this process. And get started on whatever it is that you've been keeping yourself from getting started on. Okay, Life Path 22 4s. I like the energy we are working with in April. So April is going to be, for all of us collectively, a very unstable, disruptive month. There's a lot happening. And so we have to be adaptable. We have to kind of move with the changes, see what's possible through those shifts and changes, and then take action accordingly. Now, for 22 4s, the energy we're going to be working with is a 27-9. And so this can bring in a lot of things growing, a lot of things blossoming, a lot of things bearing fruit, finally. And so we can see this as a very promising period. We can see this as, again, relationships growing or expanding, greater connections being made, collaborations that can happen, that can, again, open us up to greater opportunities. We could see a lot of momentum where it's been feeling like we've been stuck or feeling like we've been putting in a lot of effort without not a lot of rewards or return of investment. We could see that start to shift with this energy. So if you've been planning some kind of a launch, if you've been planning some kind of a new business, if there's, some kind of idea that you've been looking to get out into the world, or a new service or something like that, or if you've been looking for, to apply for a promotion or anything that's like this new, bold beginning, this is such a supportive month for 22/4s to do that. The vibration of this month, especially if it's a creative enterprise, like something that brings your creativity out and the creativity of others and works towards some kind of greater solution, again, building towards something greater, the master builders that we are, then this vibration can bring together all of the ingredients that can lead to some kind of greater success. So very beautiful in that sense. This is also could be the beginning of a huge new project, perhaps, or a new chapter in your life that looks very different from the chapters you're potentially closing out. And what I would say is you need to be open to the potential. You need to be open to the options, the possibilities, what's possible. So again, I say this often to 22/4s, don't be too quick to dismiss something because you can't see that greater potential just yet. Take your time. Read through the fine print, be open to doing things differently, for taking a different approach, because that's what's going to bring in a lot of the support, a lot of the assistance that can help you to create those bigger dreams that you might be moving towards now. I pulled an animal wisdom message for us, and we got lizard energy. And it's interesting because a lot of times when lizard comes through, it can indicate like stagnation. So again, I think that there might be major turning points in areas of your life where you've felt that stagnation, where you felt like you just can't get any movement, you can't get ahead, and you've been feeling really frustrated. You could see the tables turn this month. The other thing I would say about lizard energy coming through is that need for adaptability, for regeneration, right? So stop selling yourself short, or stop selling other people short. Like if someone comes to you with a great idea, don't underestimate their potential as well as your own, or the potential of whatever it is you could build together. So it's just an opportunity this month, really, where we'll get the most out of it is when we're thinking outside the box. We're not trying to control. We're just showing up with what we have to offer. And, when the opportunity comes in, we are curious and we follow that opportunity to see where it takes us. So if you're trying to force, if you're trying to control, then this month will be probably pretty challenging. But if you're able to go with the flow, see how you can show up and how you can work with whatever's being presented, I think you're going to be really happy with the outcome or what's initiated this month for you. So the only word of caution I would put out there is, because of all the big energies that we're all working with, is just don't rush. Right? Don't be overly impulsive. Take your time, do your due diligence, take, step by step. Don't let the minor obstacles derail you, right? Just keep going and be curious and see where it takes you. And I think you're going to be really pleased with, again, what either you initiate this month or you see come to fruition. Life path number 33/6. You all are going to be working with a vibration of the 38/2 throughout April. Now, I will say for all of us, April is going to likely be a very disruptive, very unstable month where adaptability will serve us well. So if things come up and it feels like the rug's being pulled out from underneath you throughout April, just know, it's for your highest good. Like, it's going to make sense eventually. So try to be as adaptable as possible, go with the flow, be curious, see where the changes are leading you, and then what you can do with this new landscape, wherever the energy lands you. And with all that being said, you all are going to be working with the vibration of the 38. And so, money, power, status, influence, your career, how you express yourself, your goals, how you achieve those goals are kind of all in the spotlight this month. And not only that, but how you connect with others, how you collaborate with others. This could be a very social month. You could see a lot of shifts within your relationships, like especially your creative relationships or business partnerships, colleagues, that sort of thing. This would be a month where connecting with others, working with others, brainstorming, sharing ideas can lead to quite successful ventures. even if it's something that you are revisiting this month, that you're picking back up, that you've been working on previously, and now you want to, just go a little bit deeper, or again, just pick it back up and start to work with it again. This is an awesome month to do that, and very, very supportive for you 33s. So I would say definitely take the reins there. And you might have to initiate it, and that's fine. But this could be a very fast-moving month, a very social month, one where it feels like you're kind of being pulled in many different directions. And you have to be very cognizant of how you spend your time and what you say yes to, right? You don't want to spread yourself too thin, but you also want to be careful about saying no, and to potential collaborations or social events that could connect you with the right people that can bring your ideas to life, or again, could bring in that greater promotion or new clients or whatever it may be, or just new friends to connect with to, bring more joy into your life. All of that is possible. So, just be mindful of how you spend your time this month, how you sort of divvy that out. And don't be too quick to dismiss, but don't be too quick to say yes if it doesn't feel aligned for you. But career, again, how you share your expertise, how you reach your goals, money, all of it's, you're having to look at that this month. And you might see some significant changes there. And if loss does come in any of those areas, just know it's trying to set you up for something that's more aligned. And it will likely bring in the people, places, things that can do that. So that's very, very possible as well. But it's going to require you to obviously say yes. You are the key player here. It doesn't happen without you. So if those opportunities present, this is a great month to say yes to them and put yourself out there. It's also a great month to ask for the assistance that you need. And you will likely see it come through in one way, shape, or form, whether it's leading you down, whether someone can give you a referral, or someone has the funds that you need, or the resources, or the connections. But you've got to kind of put the feelers out there. You've got to put yourself out there and ask for the support and the assistance that you need in order for that ball to start rolling. I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got owl energy. And so this is just that reminder that things aren't always as they appear to be. And sometimes we have to go deeper. Sometimes we have to go into the depths in order to see the truth of something. So don't always gauge your success or how you're doing on your journey or how far you've come on what you're seeing externally, because it's not always the full picture. Base it on how you feel about it, right? How does how does it feel to you? Does it feel aligned, or does it feel out of alignment? Does it feel chaotic, or does it feel in balance? And if it feels out of balance, then you're going to have to take the actions in order to bring it back into balance, whatever that might be for you. But the external might show you something very different, or people might show you something very different than what is actually the truth of the situation. So use your wisdom, use your intuition, use that inner guidance to go deeper, to get to the truth, to seek the truth of the situation. Ask the questions, be open to exploring further, being curious. And that will unlock the greater wisdom around the situation, but also the truth around the situation. So don't beat yourself up if things haven't gone exactly as you want them to, or if you haven't seen the results you were hoping to see, because there might still be a lot cooking. There might be still a lot happening beneath the surface that you're not privy to just yet, but that you will be eventually. So keep digging, keep asking the questions, keep showing up, keep asking for the support that you need. And eventually you'll break through that surface and see the truth of what it is, which is likely much bigger than you could have comprehended to begin with. So trust that there are powers at play that want you to be successful, and your soul is one of them, right? Our soul doesn't set us up for failure. So if it feels aligned, if you feel connection to whatever it may be, keep going. Don't allow yourself to be easily deterred by what you're seeing in the external, because I can promise you it's not the full story, and you just haven't gotten to that part of the book yet, but you're getting there. All right, 33s, I hope it's a great one. Take care. Life Path 44-8. So you are going to be working with a vibration of the 49-13-4 throughout April. And I will say collectively for all of us, April is likely going to be a somewhat unstable, disruptive month. And so adaptability is going to be crucial in order to sort of move with the changes that we could see come in this month and that are possible in order for us to see what's what's possible as we move through those shifts. So just kind of keep that in mind as we move through your forecast. Now with this 49 energy, this is a manifesting energy or part of the manifesting triad, right? Because ultimately it's 4 energy. And you all know exactly what this energy is because you're working with double 4s, right? 44. But the 4 and the 8, which is what your life path number is part of that manifesting triad. And that manifesting energy is constantly going to be asking you, what is it that you want to build or create or be a part of? And so those are the questions that you have to answer as you continue to move through April. What is it that you want to build? What is it that you want to create or be a part of? What steps are going to be needed in order to make that happen? Because always when we're talking about the 4 energy, and often when we're talking about the 8 energy, things are not just handed over. There are things that we have to work for. We have to show up. We have to invest in. We have to figure it out. We have to have a plan. We have to overcome the challenges in order to make it happen or bring it to life. So a big question for you all this month is, what are the steps that are necessary in order to bring your goals to life? Whatever those goals might be, big or small. And then you're meant to focus on that plan, commit to it, right, step by step, and dial it down to the details so that you're not overwhelmed by the enormity of the bigger picture. A lot of times with 44/8s, whenever you set your mind to something, it's very easy to get overwhelmed by the bigger picture. Oh my gosh, it's going to take so much to do this. It's impossible. I'm not capable. And then you go down the rabbit hole and then you're stuck. And then you just don't do anything because it just seems impossible and overwhelming. So in order to avoid that overwhelm, which could come in this month because this 49 energy is that big energy that's saying, if you want it, you can have it, but you've got to build it. You've got to keep showing up for it. So again, I say, whatever your goal is, right? Whether it's personal, whether it's relational, whether it's career-wise, whatever your goal is that you are feeling motivated towards or tackling this month, dial it down to the details. Make it smaller. Not make the goal smaller, but your view smaller so that you can focus on the details and not get overwhelmed by just the enormity of what may be needed. And once you dial it down and pay attention to the strategy, the step-by-step, the finer details, it becomes manageable. It becomes something that you can tackle, that you can show up to and not get overwhelmed by. So dial it down to the details. And if you start to feel yourself getting overwhelmed, remember this podcast, remember this reading, dial it down to the details. Make it manageable, right? If it's something like you want to start exercising more, don't put this big end goal in front of you. Just look at, okay, if I can just move 30 minutes a day, then I will eventually reach my goal, whatever that goal may be. So you start off, right? It's Monday. Okay, I want to move my body 30 minutes today. That's manageable. But if you look at it and like, oh my gosh, I have to move my body like 1 billion hours a year in order to, you know what I mean? It just becomes like overwhelming. So I think you get the drift. But that's really what this month is pushing you to do, is not make your dreams smaller or the goals smaller, but to dial it down to the details and start slow, right? Build upon the layers that you build for yourself that are going to be necessary for that success. There's no need to rush. Now, I pulled an animal wisdom message for you all, and you got frog energy. And with frog energy, it can bring in this energy of metamorphoses because the frog starts off as a tadpole. And it's interesting because probably when it's a tadpole, it's like, wow, look at me. Like I can swim really well. I'm really fast. I'm superhuman or super frog. But then it, metamorphosis happens and it grows its legs. And now all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I can hop and I can jump and I can go out of water or in water. And the options are endless. And I think with, metaphorically speaking, with frog energy coming through for 44s, it's that reminder that you're building upon, your wisdom, your credentials, your gifts, yourself, layer by layer, step by step. And each step is necessary in order to get to that goal, whatever it may be. And with each step, you learn something more about yourself. You recognize your strengths, your gifts, and how to use them. And so you can't rush that process. right? Just like the frog can't rush from tadpole to frog. You have to go through it and recognize the strengths of each stage of the step and celebrate that, right? And embrace it and do the best that you can do in each of those steps. So yeah, April is going to be one of those months that, again, will push you and will disrupt where it needs to disrupt, wherever it is that you're sabotaging yourself or creating barriers for yourself that don't need to be there. You will likely see it become uncomfortable. You will see challenges there to show you or remind you of what you are capable of, to show you those strengths and to make it very clear to you that you can do this, whatever this is for you. You just got to keep going and you need to take it one step at a time. So I hope it's a great month. Take care, 44s. Bye for now.